Greenway Market was the heart of Main Street, ordinary, dependable, and always bright. Its green sign gleamed in the morning sun, promising a fresh start to every day. Shoppers came for bread, milk, apples, and the comfort of routine. Each visit was a small ritual, a gentle rhythm that shaped the town's days. The automatic doors whooshed, the lights hummed, and Mrs. Gable greeted everyone by name. The familiar bell above the door chimed, welcoming all who entered. Old Mr. Henderson picked out his daily banana. Mothers wrangled carts, fathers reached for cereal on high shelves, and teens debated over snacks. Neighbors caught up in the aisles, sharing stories and laughter between the shelves. Everything had its place. Pasta in aisle 3, sauces right beside it, and shelves always full. Pet food in aisle 7, eggs clearly marked. The floors shone, the shelves were neat, and every label faced forward. Nothing ever surprised you here. Predictability was a comfort, a quiet promise that life could be simple. It was a world of order, a place where life made sense, where every day felt safe and familiar. People trusted Greenway Market as much as the old clock tower in the square. Birthday cakes, holiday turkeys, and all the little celebrations of life began here. Everyday errands, big and small, all passed through its doors, weaving the market into the fabric of the town. For most of the month, it was just a market, simple, friendly, and unremarkable. But its quiet charm was what made it special. But that was only its daytime story. As the sun dipped low, the market's true mystery waited for nightfall. At night, Greenway Market kept a secret, hidden in the quiet shadows after the last customer left. Every town has its secrets, and Greenway Market's was whispered after dark. Once a month on the new moon, the market's sign glowed silver, and the doors slid open at midnight, silent, not a soul in sight. Old folks told stories. At midnight, the market sold not groceries, but lost chances and forgotten dreams. No one admitted to going inside, but everyone wondered. The aisles were said to be silent, the shoppers like shadows, the air thick with memory. Most dismissed it as a fairy tale, but the legend lingered, a question mark over the most ordinary place in town. The midnight market was a secret everyone shared, but no one understood. Oliver, 12 and endlessly curious, was the sort of boy who always wanted to know more. About everything. He had a knack for asking questions that made adults pause, and a restless imagination that never seemed to sleep. He grew up on tales of the midnight market, stories whispered by his grandmother as the wind rattled the windows. Each tale was more mysterious than the last, filled with magic and secrets that danced just out of reach. Where others saw a ghost story meant to scare, Oliver saw a puzzle waiting to be solved, a riddle that called to his adventurous spirit. He'd walk past Greenway Market every day, imagining the secrets hidden behind the glass and polished floors, wondering what really happened there after midnight. The new moon was coming soon. He marked it with a silver star on his calendar, a secret promise to himself that he would finally discover the truth. On that night, Oliver waited until his parents slept, heart thumping with excitement and nerves, then slipped out in his quiet sneakers, careful not to make a sound. The town was hushed, shadows stretching under street lamps, every sound amplified in the stillness of the night. Main Street felt bigger, stranger, as if it belonged to another world, when the sun was gone and everyone else was asleep. And there it was, Greenway Market, glowing with silvery light, its doors open and waiting, just as the stories had promised. The sign shone like starlight, casting a magical glow that seemed to beckon him closer. No sound came from inside, just a deep, inviting silence that felt both mysterious and welcoming, as if the market itself was holding its breath. Oliver's heart pounded as he stood across the street, nerves and excitement mixing together. The story was real, and it was calling to him. He took a deep breath, crossed the empty road, and stepped into the unknown. This was his adventure, the moment he'd been waiting for. He was ready to see what waited inside, determined to uncover the midnight market's secrets at last. Entering Greenway Market at midnight was like stepping into a dream. The silence was total, the air cool and scented with old paper and rain. The store glowed softly, as if lit by twilight. Shoppers moved quietly, each lost in their own world, pushing silent carts. They looked like people searching for something precious. Oliver felt invisible, but strangely at peace. The store's layout was the same, but the feeling was utterly different. No hum, no music, just a silence full of secrets. He picked up a basket, unsure what he was searching for. The fear faded, replaced by curiosity. This place broke all the rules, but it felt important. He walked forward, drawn down the glowing aisles. The market was waiting for him. In aisle 3, jars glowed softly on the shelves, each labeled with something lost, something precious that had slipped through the cracks of time. The chance to say I'm sorry, a forgotten promise. Each label was a memory, a wish or a regret, carefully preserved behind glass. One more hour of childhood. The words seemed to shimmer, as if the past itself was alive inside the jar. Inside, light swirled or sparkled, holding memories and feelings. Tiny universes of longing, hope, and nostalgia. Shoppers chose carefully, faces full of longing or relief, as if each jar might heal an old wound or bring back a cherished moment. In the next aisle, labeled regrets, the jars glowed blue and cold, casting a somber light that seemed to chill the air. Words I wish I hadn't said. The road not taken. Each regret was sealed away, yet still powerful enough to stir the heart. Oliver picked up a jar. The time I laughed when I should have helped, and felt a pang of sadness, a reminder of moments he wished he could change. He realized this market was a library of human experience, a place for second chances and sorrow, where every shelf told a story. A woman placed My Mother's Lullaby in her basket, tears in her eyes as if she could hear the melody echoing from within the glass. An old man stared at The Day I Left Home, lost in memories, his eyes reflecting both pain and gratitude. Here, people shopped not for what they needed, but for what they'd lost, searching for pieces of themselves they hoped to reclaim. The aisles were heavy with emotion, thick with the weight of unspoken stories and silent goodbyes. Oliver moved on, heart full of wonder and empathy, feeling connected to every soul who had ever wandered these aisles. The market was a museum of life's missing pieces, a place where the past and present mingled, and every jar held a story waiting to be remembered. At the back, the cold cases held not milk, but moments frozen in time. Bell-shaped jars displayed perfect scenes. A girl on a swing, a couple on a bench, a family laughing at dinner. Oliver pressed his face to the glass, mesmerized. He opened a case and touched a jar. Daniel's last day of vacation, and felt the warmth of a sunset beach. These were more than memories. They were slices of life, preserved forever. Triumph, peace, love, and everyday happiness lined the shelves. It was beautiful and heartbreaking, a gallery of moments people wished they could revisit. Oliver wondered if the owners knew a piece of their life was here. The magic was real, but so was the ache of longing. He shivered, awed and unsettled. A bell chimed, and a light above the counter glowed, "Next." Shoppers lined up, holding their jars close. Oliver's basket was empty. He'd only looked. At the counter, the cashier's face emerged from the shadows. It was Oliver, older, calmer, with the same scar above his eyebrow. The other Oliver smiled gently. "You don't need to buy anything to visit," he said. "Who are you?" Oliver whispered. "I'm the one who stays. Everyone leaves something behind. That's the price." A receipt printed out. The cashier handed it to Oliver. "You've already paid. Everyone pays when they walk through the door." Oliver stared at the slip, heart pounding. The market's rules were stranger than he'd imagined. The receipt was thick, soft, and read, "One visit to Greenway Market, midnight. Price, one tomorrow." Oliver's blood ran cold. He'd traded his next day for this night of wonder. "You spent tonight looking at what was and what could have been," the cashier explained. "The price is always the same. You trade tonight for tomorrow." The market began to fade, shelves dimming, silence giving way to the sounds of dawn. Oliver felt fear, but also acceptance. He'd found magic, but paid for it. He looked at the other Oliver, who nodded in understanding. Oliver stepped outside as the sun rose, the market now dark and ordinary. The sign was off, the doors locked. He was alone, receipt in hand, the sky painted pink and orange. He had spent his tomorrow, and now today was already dawning.